Gentlemen, Mr. Klopp, I want to be, you wanted to provide clarity about penetration and the ability from somebody on the outside to come into the system and exfiltrate information. I want to give you another chance at that. Are you sure that nobody's been able to do that?
I will tell you that Marty and I are passing notes back and forth. We are not aware that they were able to do that in the August penetration, in the August testing that they went on. What I will tell you is that we're undergoing testing today, and I've actually been personally in communication with.
No, let there be no doubt. The two tests that I'm aware of that were done at the invitation of the Social Security Administration, they gave you credit for the fact that they couldn't penetrate from the inside, but from the outside. But from the inside, they certainly could.
So I believe that when we let them in the inside, they were able to penetrate. They were not able as far as...
So how many people are in the inside? How many users of these accounts do you have?
Thousands.
Yeah, like tens of thousands, like 96,000 is the actual number. So here's the problem. That is a vulnerability. You had 96,000 people who are already on the inside, and their ability to get in, surf around, and exfiltrate information is undoubtedly happening because the two penetration tests that were tried, that happened. But again, I want to talk about from the outside penetration, not the test, not the people you invited. You're not aware of anybody who's been able to penetrate from the outside, uninvited, and maybe over what period of time? Any of you?
I don't think we're... Yeah. Go ahead, Marty.
So we do not to date have any evidence that someone from the outside has gotten in and exfiltrated out. But anyone in cyber will tell you that there are no absolutes at this point in time.
Okay, now here's the problem I have with that answer. Okay, with all due respect. There's a person who's sitting in jail for doing this very thing. There's a person in Miami, right? Oh, now you're shaking your head yes. What happened in that case?
So that was a case of fraud, correct?
Yes, it is fraud.
Talking about identity theft.
Yes.
Right? And it was identity theft where they acted as someone else?
Yes. Oh, yes. How creative. I can't believe anybody would do that. What happened? Go ahead. Keep going.
So there have been, and I think Ms.
Oh, so
Jones
there
alluded
was a penetration on the outside where somebody disguised themselves. In fact, they tapped in and they created 900 fraudulent accounts. How much money did they take out from the government? How much money?
I don't know the answer.
Yeah, it's $20 million. There's $11 million that still hasn't been recovered, and this guy's sitting in jail. Here's the problem. You're the chief information security officer. The person came in just the last couple of years and did this. And this is the one that we know about. And you don't recall that off the top of your head?
So my apologies. I was thinking of cyber incidents and...
Why is this not a cyber incident?
It is.
It's not.
It's fraud. It's identity
It's
theft.
fraud.
Wait, fraud.
Okay, so what's the difference
So my
between fraud and cyber?
I do understand from your perspective that those things are alike, and my apology for...
Well, what's the difference?
So we have established, we have established an Office of Anti-Fraud Programs, and...
So look, the difference is that cyber is designed to defend us against someone who's coming in, trying to hack in through our systems, and that's a completely different...
No, it's not.
No, it is a completely different discipline.
He came
it's
in and
recognized by the Department of Homeland Security and those folks as a completely different discipline.
He came into the system. He hacked his way into the system.
He didn't hack his way into the system. He did not hack his way into the system. What he did was he captured somebody else's identity and came in through the system legitimately as a fraudster. It is not within the, it's not recognized in the information technology world that is a case of cyber attack. That is not the way the information technology world would view that. It is fraud. It is identity fraud.
He didn't
It is
do it-
something that we're diligently fighting against, but it's
did-
not cyber fraud.
He didn't do this one or two times. He didn't go down the street and grab Betty's telephone number and address, and he did this by the hundreds of times because he was able to get in there,
Because he was
hack in
able to
through-
get 100 identities.
That
Go
was
ahead.
because he was able to get Social Security numbers that he had access to, and that's the big issue of identity theft, identity, where you take someone else's identity. But we're now using data analytics to be able to prevent that kind of thing from happening. I've set up a complete center on data analytics where we can look at trends and patterns.
We will continue to flush this out with you, but when somebody is able to go in there and change those addresses and do those types of things, I just disagree with. I think that's, that person, again, if you're going out and stealing a couple numbers and you're doing that's a little different. I would grant you that. But when this person's doing this in mass and changing those addresses, it was the IG that found out about it first.
It's fraud, though. It's not cybersecurity. We know, I mean, it's a bad issue.
You
and
got a
it's one
lot of
we're working
you got a
on.
lot of explaining to do to us on how you're
right.
differentiating this and who else should be sitting at this table to protect against
And I
that.
would like an opportunity later, maybe not at this hearing, to explain to you what we're doing in those kinds of cases. But we're doing something very differently in dealing with those cases than what we're doing with cybersecurity. And we're working very closely with the Office of Inspector General in those kinds of cases.
All right, we have a vote on the floor. I went over my time. Just